Beth Long here for Fox Sports Next with John Garcia of Cuse Nation. Now we got to talk a little bit about Syracuse recruiting. We're standing outside the Mello Center, ironically, but we're going to talk football recruiting for you guys. We just like the S in the background. First off, one thing that I am very interested in is the fact that Syracuse football went a long time in the way of recruiting without getting a 2013 commit on the board. Tyler Provo pulled the trigger when Coach Hackett was down in Florida, and since then it's been almost a landslide of commits that have committed to Syracuse. Why do you think that is, and why was getting Tyler Provo on board so significant?
It's momentum. Momentum in recruiting is everything. There was a time there where you said, wow, I mean, is this really going to get that far into the summer? But it didn't. Provo kind of saved the day there by committing to Coach Hackett in person, as you alluded to. It was just important because for another recruit to know that you're not the first one and you're coming in with somebody else, it just helps out, especially considering that 2 of the next 3 commits they got were quarterbacks. It's no coincidence there. And the ball was rolling with that position because there was such a, quarterbacks like to commit early anyway because they like to know the school they're going to, start learning that system as much as they possibly can. And about 5 or 6 of Syracuse's targets were off the board at the same time. So you get the sense that Hackett made a push to land some quarterbacks, and they got 2 of them in Zach Allen and Austin Wilson.
Speaking of Coach Hackett, 2 of the coaches that had the most recruiting success, it seems like, are Coach Hackett, right, who's not even really a primary recruiter here for Syracuse, right, and Coach Wheatley. Why are those 2 such impressive recruiters, and why are they just blazing out on the recruiting trail so well?
Well, quarterbacks like Hackett because he's the offensive coordinator. He's the guy they're going to be theoretically their boss. And anybody who knows him, he's a very enthusiastic, upbeat guy. For those of you who don't know, he likes to crack jokes and kind of get in your face in a positive way. And on the flip side, Tyrone Wheatley is kind of the opposite. He's a guy who's going to get to know you, and he's going to develop the relationship outside of football. You know who Tyrone Wheatley is. You know he's a running backs coach. So running backs obviously are particular towards him. But other players in general are now gravitating to him because of his personality and the fact that he's developing a relationship that has nothing to do with football with these players, and multiple players have told me that over the last 2 years.
Something else on top of those 2 coaches that are definitely making Syracuse football more successful has been the targeting of the New York City area. Right. That is something, New York's college team that is all up over New York City.
Yeah. Even in Yankee Stadium now.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Most people probably saw that tweet, one of the offensive linemen tweeting the banner up in Yankee Stadium. Yeah. But that is something that Dr. Gross is making a push for, as well as the football team. Why is that area key to developing Syracuse football?
Well, it's no secret that the state of New York is not a football hotbed. It's not the South. It's not the Mid-Atlantic. It's not Texas. So you have to hone in on the area that seems to produce players year in, year out. It started a couple years ago with guys like Brandon Reddish and that whole group, and the class of 2012 is no different with Wayne Morgan, Alvin Cornelius, and now in the class of 2013, it's the same story. You got Wayne Williams as a commit already, a JUCO player heading to ASA in Brooklyn, but there's more targets in that demographic, and that's going to be the target area for years to come as long as they keep producing the type of players that they are.
Trying to get that New York City football to come to the other side of New York, to Central New York, to play for Syracuse. So make sure you stay on Cuse Nation for the latest on all things Syracuse. From John and I for Fox Sports Next.